Peregrine Took is an entertaining character with a lot to him, but there are some aspects in particular that I wanted to focus on for this build. I think the thing Pippin is most known for is his curiosity, which often leads to him doing things like looking at the Palantir. I wanted to include something to represent that, as well as the exceptional look that I think is present when he is in some of the dangerous situations caused by this curiosity. As well as this, I wanted to make sure to properly showcase Pippin's combat ability. It's something that's not really addressed in the films, but is mentioned in the books. Mainly in the Battle of the Black Gate, where he single-handedly kills an Olog in a reckless attack that almost got him killed. Pippin is of course a hobbit, and with how legendarily hardy the Tooks are known to be, I made him a stout halfling. From this we will get a +2 to dexterity and a +1 to constitution, as well as the abilities Brave, Halfling Nimbleness, and Stout Resilience to help with survivability. We will also get the languages Common and Halfling. Now moving on to the character's class, we will be starting with 3 levels in Bard, which fits with Pippin's charismatic and performative nature. These levels will give us some spells, which I'll cover later, as well as Bardic Inspiration, which can be used to give other party members the ability to buff their dice rolls. We also get Jack of all trades, giving half proficiency in all skills we are not proficient in, which is extremely useful. Then there is Song of Rest, which will improve the efficiency of people's hit dice when they use them to heal on short rests. Finally, we get a choice of Bard College, and I think the College of Valor fits well here. We get some bonus proficiencies, but they will become irrelevant when we start multiclassing. However, we also get Combat Inspiration, which allows Bardic Inspiration dice to be used to buff damage or armour in combat. Next, I've put 5 levels into Barbarian. This was originally going to be Fighter, but I decided that because I've done that for all the other hobbits in the Fellowship, I wanted to try something different. I think it fits Pippin well due to the way we see him act. He's a highly emotional person, especially in combat, and the story I mentioned earlier about killing the Olog was very much like a frenzied attack, with Pippin recklessly fighting to kill it and almost dying in the process. So from these 5 levels, we get access to Rage, allowing us to enter it as a bonus action. The effect lasts a minute and provides us with bonus damage to strength attacks, resistance to most non-magical attacks, and advantage on strength checks, which makes us quite powerful in combat. Then we have Unarmoured Defense, which is great, and is probably going to be stronger than our leather armour, so well worth using. We also have Reckless Attack, giving us advantage on strength attacks, but leaving us vulnerable to attacks against us, which also gain advantage. Danger Sense gives us an improved chance of dodging traps or reacting to ambushes, and Extra Attack helps with our damage output, making us even more formidable. Finally, we have Fast Movement, increasing our speed, and our Primal Path, for which I took the Path of the Berserker. This path gives us the ability Frenzy, which can increase the power of our Rage ability, allowing for additional attacks as bonus actions, but at the cost of suffering exhaustion levels. Finally, I put 3 levels into Rogue, which gives us some skills and expertise which I'll cover later on. Then we get Thieves' Cant and Cunning Action, which allows for dodging, dashing, and disengaging to be done as an extra action. Then we will improve this power with the archetype Thief, giving Fast Hands, which allows the Cunning Action to also be used to make a sleight of hand check, pick a lock, or use an object. So, for our equipment, we will be using the Bard starting gear, and the first thing we will be taking is a short sword, which will be representing the Dagger of the Wetterknees that Merry and Pippin find in the Barrow Downs. Then we will take an entertainer's pack, and finally we get a musical instrument. Pippin is a purely vocal performer, so you can take whatever you want here. Then we get some leather armour, which you probably won't want to use over unarmoured defence, and a dagger. Next, we get some spells from our Bard levels. As usual, I've gone for more passive spells, or things that could be considered to be just extreme charisma, such as Vicious Mockery, because Pippin isn't an actual magic user. So first we get 2 cantrips, for which I took Friends and of course Vicious Mockery. Then the first level spells Charm Person, Cure Wounds, Disguise Self, Heroism, and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Finally, take the level 2 spell Enhance Ability. For our ability scores, we will want to focus on Dexterity to boost our armour, as well as Charisma for spellcasting. then Strength for weapon attacks when in rage, and Wisdom for perception checks to support the character's curiosity. Finally, Intelligence and Constitution won't be as important for this character. It's also worth mentioning that for our multi-class choices, we need to have a Strength and Dexterity of over 13, which is very easy to do with standard array, but if you're rolling for stats, that's something to be wary of. Pippin's background was a pretty straightforward choice. There are a few options that could probably fit just as well, but I went for Entertainer. The personality traits I went for are on screen, and we get some skills, which I will cover later on. As an entertainer, we gain proficiency in the disguise kit, as well as a musical instrument, which once again doesn't really matter. Now for alignment, I went for neutral good. I think Pippin is generally someone who tries to do good and will help people to the best of his ability. I think some of his petty crimes could suggest he's more chaotic good, but they seem too minor to me for that. Now for our skills, we get Performance and Acrobatics from our background, and 3 from the Bard class, for which I took Persuasion, Sleight of Hand, and Perception. Finally, for our Rogue level, I took Stealth. Due to our levels in Bard and Rogue, we also get to pick 4 skills to have expertise in, which gives us double proficiency when using them. The 4 I chose are Persuasion, Performance, Perception, and Stealth. I built this character to be level 11, which gives us 2 ability score increases to work with, and I took the feats Savage Attacker and Lucky. Savage Attacker allows us to reroll bad damage, and Lucky allows us to reroll attacks we don't like, which when combined with the Lucky ability given to us from our race, gives us a lot of control over our dice rolls. As always, I'm ending with a homebrew ability to add some flavour to the character. In the case of Pippin, I'm going to do like I did with Merry, and start with a +5 to stealth when not moving to represent the elven cloak he wears. Then I wasn't entirely sure what to do beyond that, so I went for a different approach to what I normally do. I gave Pippin an ability called Fool of a Took, which gives him a +5 to perception for 20 minutes once per long rest. The idea I had behind this was that it can give the Dungeon Master an opportunity to place things around that only Pippin will spot, for better or worse. So this could lead to his curiosity triggering events that the DM can set up, like maybe finding a secret door, or broadcasting the group's location to every goblin in Moria. As I said, I was stumped for a while on this ability, so I'd love to hear your ideas for homebrew abilities to give the character in the comments. With that, the character's done. There's a character sheet in the description if you want more information, and a link to my playlist for the rest of the Fellowship if that's something that interests you. Next week, I'm going to be making a video more centred around homebrew mechanics, so be sure to subscribe if that's something you'd like to see.